Good morning. This lesson is for my Trig-Precalc class. This is going to be our first chapter 1 lesson. We had the little goofy dividing lesson, but this is going to be a lesson on using strategic inputs to find nice outputs, or in a simpler way, what numbers can I plug in so I get nice numbers back. And I have 3 specific examples on the board. And so again, like I mentioned before, mathematics is, it teaches us strategic thought. And if we can plan a couple moves or a couple steps ahead, we can actually pick nice numbers to plug in so that these complicated looking functions tend to untie themselves. So let me just go through a couple examples of each, and hopefully I can help you see that it does help to play a couple moves ahead in this mathematics game. All right. So the first example is I'm asking you to find 3 ordered pairs for f of x equals x over 3 plus 2. Now, to be honest, students have a habit of just plugging in numbers. I would see a lot of you guys, for example, plug in 1, and then now you have a fraction that's not going to go away. So you could plug in 1, but remember, the goal is to find a nice output, right? And we're not going to be getting a nice output because we plugged in a value for x that doesn't cancel the fraction. So plugging in 1 is not going to make a nice output for us. So when I say strategic thought, what I want you to do is I want you to think about what values of x could you plug in so that 3 divides into it nicely. So we're thinking one step ahead in terms of division. So a nice number to plug in would be 3. So let's try that. So this one was no good. So let's try f of 3. If I plug in 3, I'm going to be left with 3 over 3 plus 2. 3 over 3 turns into 1. 1 plus 2, that gives me. So I plugged in a 3, I got back a 3, and now I can write an ordered pair. Remember, my value that I plug in is my x value. The value I get back, that's my y value. I didn't intend to plug in a number where I would get the exact same one back. That might be a little confusing, so I will do one more quick little example for this problem. Maybe instead of a 3, I do, let's see, we'll do a 6, the next larger number. And 3 goes into 6 twice. 2 and 2 is 4. And I'm left with an input of 6, an output of 4. So I'm picking numbers that allow my problem to get easier. Okay. Now the second problem, the step ahead that we want to think is we want to think about what numbers that we can plug in that are perfect squares, right? So if you plug in 1, you would get the square root of 1, which is 1, which is good. But I just have a feeling some of us might try 2. And I don't know the exact value of square root of 2, so that's not a good number to plug in. So let's see here. We can plug in 4 because 4 has a nice square root. So if I have g of 4 is equal to the square root of 4 plus 5. Well, the square root of 4, that becomes 2. And 2 plus 5 is going to give me 7. So g of 4 gets me 7, but this can also be written as an ordered pair, which would be 4, 7. So I need to do this a couple more times in order to find nice values. And again, like I said, I'm trying not to start the year off with things too difficult. We're gonna ramp up this problem, and you're actually gonna see the next example, a way that I do this that you probably haven't seen before. But what it's gonna do is it's just gonna eliminate number crunching, okay? I have never seen anywhere in all of my math experience someone tell me that I can only plug in numbers of a certain form. And I'll show you what I mean. So I want to find a number here that's a nice square root, but my problem is I'm subtracting 8. Okay? And so I could figure out what number I have to take 8 away from in order to get a nice square root. Right? So let's see. I mean, I can plug in 17, right? So I can say h of 17. But I have to do some thinking here. I want to show you how to do this without as much thinking. H of 17 would be 17 minus 8 plus 4. 17 minus 8, that's going to give me to 9. 9 plus 4. Square root of 9 is 3 plus 4. So now I get 7. So I could have h of 17 equaling to 7, or as an ordered pair, I plug in 7, I plug in 17, I get 7 back. So that's one way to do it, is you have to think about what you have to deal with in here so that you can untie it and find a value. But I'm going to suggest a different way, a little bit more unique way. And try to do it this unique way, because we're going to be plugging in goofy looking values the whole year. So if we start to get comfortable plugging in goofy values now, goofy looking values now, when it comes to the more difficult mathematics that we're going to be dealing with, we're not going to struggle plugging in goofy looking numbers. And so that's actually the reason why I have this lesson, is I want to get my students comfortable plugging in goofy looking values. So here's the way that I would do it. Here's the way that I would plug in. I would plug in like this. I would find a perfect square. Like I want 9. But then I would write next to my number 9, I would write the following. 9 plus 8. And I'm writing this plus 8 right here specifically to cancel that. Again, like I said, I've never been told that I have to write numbers in a certain form when I plug in. So I'm going to write them in this goofy form. Alright? And you're going to see that when I plug this in, I've strategically picked a number so that when I plug this guy in, 9 plus 8, I'm going to get a little sloppy with it, not using parentheses right here, but 9 plus 8 minus 8, and then plus 4. What happens here that's really nice is my plus 8 and my minus 8, they cancel out. And now I'm left with just the square root of 9 plus 4. And my square root of 9 is 3, and that's 3 plus 4, and that's 7. So when I plug in 9 plus 8, I get 7. And I can write it like an ordered pair like this. We're allowed to be a little creative with how we write our numbers. Right? So this method is going to be really nice if I ask you to find ordered pairs for something, maybe when the number's a little goofier. Instead of an 8, maybe that's a fraction. So I have 3 problems based on this. Again, this is a bigger picture lesson where it's actually going to, how do I say, be beneficial the whole year. So again, I want us to get comfortable plugging in the goofy looking numbers. So that's all I got for you guys. I hope you're having a good rest of the day. I will talk to you later.